Credo Voices, the podcast where we bring you inspiring stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Awele Okibo, the CEO of Credo Advisory. Today, we explore the remarkable intersection of technology, creativity, and development. In 2023, the United Nations reported that 67% of the world's population is connected to the internet. This connectivity is driving a wave of innovation, with digital creators leading the charge. In this episode, we journey to France to meet Yacine Ait-Kaci, a visionary digital artist and co-founder of the Elyx Foundation. Elyx, his brainchild, is an illustrated digital character and the first United Nations ambassador of its kind. Thanks to Elyx, Yacine inspires and educates people around the world about critical issues like sustainability, human rights, and global partnerships. With its personality, wide smile, open arms, and good humor, Elyx advances all the Sustainable Development Goals through the 5 pillars: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships. Let's listen and be inspired by Yacine's innovative work and impact on global conversations and issues. Today, I have Yacine. Yacine, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Awele. Thank you for receiving me. I'm Yacine Ait-Kaci. I'm a digital artist for 25 years. And indeed, 12 years ago, I did create a character to be a kind of a real person on the social network. Its name is Elyx. And in 2015, Elyx became the first digital ambassador for the United Nations.
Yacine, first of all, how did you start digital design? Is this something you always wanted to do when you were young? Just walk us through your journey into the creative industry.
I used to learn in an art school in French, the School of Art Décoratif, which is quite famous, and it was really the beginning of the digital era, late in the 90s, in the last century. So I was really, since my younger age, I used to be a geek, the first geek in history, the 8-bit geek, So for me, it was like so natural and logical to dive in and see what could going on.
Okay, but so tell me, how did you actually create Elyx? What was the motivation around it? And also share its shape, its form, its personality. For those of our listeners who aren't aware of, who Elyx is, can you just paint a picture?
Very quickly, before Elyx, I used to create a lot of digital interactive installation, live shows, and so very complex digital things. And when the social networks arrived, in fact, it was the beginning of a huge universal conversation, what we call Web 2.0.
Yes.
The thing is, we all have different languages. We all have different cultures. So maybe you want to tell something, and the people on the other side of Earth, they understand something else. So I figure out what would be the best media to share something, an emotion or a message. And this thing is the drawing. Why? Because everyone on Earth did draw at one moment of its life. This moment is childhood. So Elyx is a character, but in the same time is a media. It's a keyhole. And if you look at the shape of Elyx, it's a keyhole with arms and legs.
Legs, yes.
And the last very important thing is the smile, because smiling is also a universal language. And you know it already because you're always smiling.
I was just going to say, Yacine, I'm actually smiling right now.
And this is how Elyx was born like a little drawing, little character, very smiling, very gentle and so on. And I decided to put it on on Instagram, but the concept, it was not my account, it was Elyx account. It was like a little bit the first digital influencer. And this is how everything started.
Wow, that's incredible. Elyx has gone all over the world, Yacine. It's incredible. Does Elyx have a gender?
That's a very good question. Even Elyx, in the name we have, you know, the DNA Elyx that we all have inside us, and we have this chromosome. It's XX or YX, and Elyx actually is totally genderless. And why that? Because it's a drawing. And why should a drawing have a gender? Because it's not a representation of a human being. It's a representation of a drawing. It's a drawing showing a drawing,
Wow. So, Yacine, we met 2 years ago at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Goalkeepers event. So because of the work you're doing, or rather, because of the work Elyx is doing, can you just share what kind of impact has Elyx had?
Yeah, indeed. I know we were very glad to be in this goalkeeper community. I know we still are. But in fact, as I told you, Elyx was really designed as a universal media, a way to communicate to anyone. And this is exactly what happened. Back in 2014, I started a collaboration with the United Nations because, the UN, they have 193 countries. They have 6 official languages. They have very complex topics. And the idea was to be able to talk to anyone independently of its culture, its language, its nationality, and so on. And we used Elyx for that. So as it doesn't speak, it can speak to anyone. So we did, for instance, and it's also in the news now because we are celebrating soon the 15th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So we did a version of that. We just released a new version that is totally animated and that you can find on your social networks, on your messaging application, through a GIF collection and so on. We did something for the Sustainable Development Goals. We did a lot of international days. And from that, with with Adeline Pinon, my partner, we created the Elyx Foundation. So we work for education, for advocacy, and that's the reason why we are flying to COP tonight. And we do many projects and many ways to share and have tools to express our ideals. Yeah.
So Yacine, we'll get to COP, but before we get there, I wanted to find out from you. Elyx has gotten so much popularity. I mean, my goodness, it's now the first, you mentioned it, first virtual UN ambassador. What role can it play in raising awareness around, education, gender equality? You mentioned COP, climate change. Can you just give me an example so that our listeners can really understand the kind of advocacy and the kind of agency that Elyx is achieving?
One example is one of the programs of the foundation that is called 10 to Go. And it's a collection of infographics that we share with all the schools and companies that want to use it. And it's free on the website elyx.net. And in fact, we try to explain in a very simple way how topics are interconnected through the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So, for instance, we have a chapter about gender equality, with a video interactive game in the metaverse as well. And we have another collection about climate change, one on biodiversity, and so on. And so it means that any teacher, if he wants to share a complex topic with the students, you can use Elyx first as like the little companion, a little design friend. You can draw with the children and so on. And then he can put these infographics and works on more complex topics. So this is one example, but we work also a lot in the digital way to communicate, the metaverse spaces, augmented reality, and so on. So there are many different aspects, but always with this very simple approach of Elyx.
So I have another question. Now, you mentioned again, this is because it's digital. How can we, or how do you leverage Elyx in countries where there's that digital divide, where they may not have access to the digital space? What role can Elyx have, or impact can it have in those environments?
In some way, Elyx is really between high tech and very low tech, because for instance, it was used in some schools in Benin, or in some African countries.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can print the designs. We made a game with the United Nations about SDG that is totally free and can be printed. And so, you can have like this virtual space installation and so on, but in the same time, you can just print the design and go in the schools directly with your papers, and it's the same project, it's the same character, it's the same spirit.
So as a segue to that, I have it on good authority that Elyx was at the Hollywood sign in California recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. And this speaks to what you're saying, that it really has it's borderless. It's able to be anywhere. So please share a little bit more.
Absolutely. And this was a very nice event, because there is a startup in the US working on an augmented reality app, and I was in contact with them, and they asked me, could we introduce Elyx in LA, where we are based, and so on. And so that was so easy. I sent them the model, and they made this picture in Hollywood, and actually in front of the sign. And it's so great, because this is really the idea behind Elyx. Back in 2015, it was the 70th anniversary of the United Nations. And what we did is a world tour with Elyx, just with the drawing that we sent everywhere. The Elyx, it made the world tour, but with no passport, no visa.
Zero fuel emission also.
Zero fuel emission, absolutely. And it was in the hands of many people, including in Gaza, in a school in Gaza. It was you can see all the travel on this website, elyx70days.org. So this was back in 1915. And what happens today is, in 1925, it will be the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. So what we want to do is the world tour in 80 days. Hi, Jules Verne.
Oh, great.
And this time in augmented reality, it means that even you, with your phone, you will be able to share a moment of the travel, and making Elyx appear, like pop up wherever you are,
In November 2023, Elyx animated the 30 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to commemorate Human Rights Day and to help connect and engage younger audiences. As the world's first digital influencer, it is a full-fledged virtual personality and universal messenger across social networks. Elyx is a powerful symbol transcending race, gender, sexuality, age, religion, and ethnicity through its nonverbal and inclusive movements. You mentioned COP. Tell me, what are you trying to achieve? What are your goals at COP? What does success look like for you and for Elyx?
I was back in 2015 again. It was a very important year. I was the invited artist for the COP21 in Paris, my hometown. And now, so I did at this time, I created the calendar that was offered as a gift to all the COP negotiators. So, and since then, we developed a project that we will present at the United Nations booth in the Blue Zone at COP, that is called the Mangrove Experience. That is what we call a 3-act experience. You have the physical acts, like a piece of art installation.
Yes.
Then you have a digital experience, and you can already go on the website of Elyx. You will find a banner, and you'll be able to enter into a metaverse space that will explain to you what are the challenges to restore the mangroves areas, in the world.
Wow.
And see what we have to achieve between today and 2030, especially today, because the countries start to put monies in the countries that need that, since yesterday. So the mangrove are a very, very powerful tool to fight climate change, because they capture a lot of carbon. They keep the lands, they keep all the lands near the sea protected and so on.
So Elyx is working in hand with partners to drive climate action. Can you tell me what other areas are you doing anything to address gender equality, poverty alleviation? What other sustainable development goals are you also involved in?
Gender equality is a key issue, actually, and for that issue, I developed a specific character that is not Elyx, because obviously Elyx is genderless, but that is called Lexi, and Lexi is a female.
I love that, Lexi. I love it, but I haven't seen her.
You can see her, in fact, on the 10 to Go program.
Excellent. Okay.
Many animations, and also we did a kind of escape game, an interactive 3D space with a lot of questions. It's like a Q&A in the 3D space that you can find on our website that we made. It's really like a game, and Lexi is it's the equivalent of Elyx, but a specifically gendered character.
Nice. And are you the one who designed her?
Yes.
Incredible work. I love what I'm hearing, but it can't be easy. There must be challenges in designing, in setting up your foundation, in developing your partners. Can you share a little bit about what are some of the challenges and roadblocks you've encountered along the way?
The main challenge is really, the power of Elyx is also its weakness, because, the reason why we can speak to anyone is because it's very simple and very nice and smiling. And so it means that it can touch much more people than regular institutional communication can, because everyone can feel involved. But in the same time, it can be sometimes it's weakness, because, some people would like to say, no, it's not serious, it's a drawing and so on. But it's like the two faces of the same coin. So sometimes we have to show the impact, the results, and the impact on people, because with Elyx we do communication with, the biggest institution in the world, like the United Nations. We met at the Gates Foundation and so on. But it's a lot of work and advocacy to make it work.
So Elyx has been to New York, been to Paris, been to Los Angeles. Where hasn't Elyx traveled to? What are the key places you'd love to see Elyx?
Actually, for the world tour, we have a secret plan, and that I will share with you. But we want, the world tour will be 80 days, obviously. And we have a dream is to send Elyx into the ISS, the International Space Station.
Wow. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yacine,
because
that would be incredible.
can you imagine the Elyx with our common home and with no borders, no nationalities?
Wow.
Absolutely.
So, what's one thing that you feel you can be doing better? Something that you feel Elyx can do better?
I think the main challenge today is because Elyx was created quite a time ago, and the social networks change a lot during this period, and the main challenge, and maybe something to discuss with you, is really to reinforce our community, because obviously everyone loves Elyx, and I'm the first to be so happy from that, but in terms of community, I think we could do much better, because every time people see Elyx, they want it, they really like it. But I think we are not strong enough in terms of global communication, not communication with institutions.
Building the brand, really strengthening its brand and raising awareness.
The community, absolutely.
Wow, that's incredible. Before we close, there's something we like to do with some guests. It's called our rapid fire session. And I'll just ask you a few questions, 2 words, and you're just supposed to very quickly pick one of them. Are you ready?
Perfect.
Okay. Tintin, that's Tintin or Avatar?
Avatar.
2D or 3D?
3D.
Comic books or animation?
Animation.
Okay. Virtual reality or in person?
In person.
Oh, okay. And the last one is Elyx or Lexi? That's a tough one.
Ooh, I would say Elyx because it's universal text. It's like it's.
Yacine, merci bien. C'était un grand plaisir.
Merci à vous, avec grand plaisir aussi.
Okay, and bon voyage. Thank you so much. And we'll check in with you very soon. We're going to have a follow-up conversation to see where's Elyx. Kind of like the Where's Waldo series.
Exactly. You will see him in Dubai next week. So
excellent. We'll look out for him. Thank you so much and take care. Yacine Ait-Kaci's work with Elyx transcends the realm of digital art, embodying a mission to foster cooperation and address global challenges through creativity. Elyx brings complex issues like sustainability, climate change, and human rights to life in a way that is engaging and inspiring to audiences worldwide. With Elyx's joyful and non-verbal language, Yacine has created a universal symbol with a smile that transcends borders and boundaries. Communicating a global message that resonates deeply, it spreads messages of hope, education, and inspiration, particularly to younger people. Elyx's adventures highlight the power of imagination and the importance of global solidarity. It travels the world without a passport or visa and with zero fuel emissions. Yacine's work illustrates the pivotal role of digital technology in driving social change and fostering progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. Through Elyx, Yacine Ait-Kaci shows us that with creativity and innovation, we can bridge cultures and inspire positive change. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious and keep believing in the power of your voice. This is Awele Okibo, signing off for Credo Voices.